What's up, guys? James Carter TV. Here I am continuing my 2016 NFL Draft recaps, and today we are talking about the New England Patriots. But before I begin, some of you ask, oh, can you do my team? I'm doing every team in the NFL, and the order of teams that I'm doing can be found in the description box below, so go down there and do that. It's a random order, so don't complain. Alright, so with that said, let's talk about the New England Patriots draft. Now, I'm not going to fall in love with the belief that Bill Belichick knows what he's doing, that no matter what he does, we're going to say, well, it's Bill Belichick. Let's believe him because he's Bill Belichick. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to be harsh on this man because although he does have a pretty good record, I don't think it's as great as an Ozzie Newsome or even a John Elway in recent years. I mean, for every Chandler Jones and Dante Hightower and Jamie Collins and Rob Gronkowski, there are Rizai Dowlings and Lawrence Moreau, Mahoney's, and all those other guys, Jake Beckett and Aaron Dobson. Bill Belichick has his fair share of draft busts under his record. So you need to go into this saying, I don't care who this is. Let's look who drafted this. I don't care who drafted it. Let me look who drafted it and give my thoughts on it. And again, I think it's a little bit of an underwhelming draft from the New England Patriots. I mean, they'll still be fine. I mean, they'll make the playoffs for the next 3 years until Brady retires. But, you know, when in terms of can we get some really good players in here, I think they may have missed the ball on this one. But let's get into the draft. Let's start with their second round pick, 60th pick overall, cornerback Cyrus Jones out of Alabama. This guy is going to play nickel corner for them, or slot corner. And when you look at that, I understand the pick more because I don't think he's going to be a great outside cornerback in the NFL at all. Doesn't have great length, standing at only 5'10", arms aren't very long. At Alabama, he was okay at times, a little bit too eager, and he did get absolutely blitzed and blazed by better wide receivers, better competition. They didn't have too many great SEC wide receivers to face this year, but the best ones that they did face, like Laquan Treadwell, he had his issues. And, you know, this is a guy that is going to have those issues, and you hope that Bill Belichick and this Patriots defense and defensive staff can coach him out of these issues, but he also offers some value in terms of the punt return game. And I think that's where he may end up having the most value for this Bill Belichick Patriots team. I think it's a fine player, but because he's only going to be a slot corner, and we're still talking about the second round, he's only going to be a slot corner or slash a punt returner. And when you look at last year, Tyler Lockett was that kind of guy, but I think Tyler Lockett had way more potential than Cyrus Jones does. In terms of, well, Tyler Lockett's going to be a slot receiver, not a slot corner. I'm not saying that. But I just don't see much out of Cyrus Jones, and I don't like the value taking a slot corner and punt returner here with the second round pick. I only give it a B-. Next, we move on to the third round, 78th pick overall, Joe Thuney out of North Carolina State. Now, they were slotted to select 61st overall, the New England Patriots were, but they traded down all the way back to 78. They take Joe Thuney here, and this is an important draft pick because this is the draft pick that they acquired from the Arizona Cardinals for Chandler Jones. I mean, they acquired, well, what's his name? The guard that was now playing for you guys, the guy that was Jonathan Cooper. Jonathan Cooper, the 2013 NFL draft pick, you acquired him, and you acquired this pick. So, whoever you draft here pretty much needs to be as good as Chandler Jones to justify the trade that you guys made. And I said back in my video when the Patriots traded Chandler Jones, you're going to need to draft someone good here. And I think they've actually drafted someone pretty good. Now, in Joe Thuney, I think is going to be a pretty good guard at the next level. And not only can he play guard, but he can play almost every position on the offensive line. Very versatile guy, very athletic guy. I think he had one of the best 40s at the combine for his position, for that offensive line positional group. But will he be as good as Chandler Jones? Will we look back on this trade and say, yeah, good, they traded Chandler Jones for Joe Thuney and Jonathan Cooper? I don't think so. But overall, I still give it an A- because I do like Joe Thuney, the player. Next, we move on to quarterback Jacoby Brissett, who's taken with the third round, 91st pick overall quarterback Jacoby Brissett out of North Carolina State. and I actually like this pick. A lot of people are perplexed. I'm not surprised. The Patriots like to take wide receivers every couple years. They took Jimmy Garoppolo, they took Ryan Mallett, they took Matt Castle, they took this guy, they took that guy, they took a whole bunch of busts. They've been doing this for the past 15 years. They love doing it, and they still haven't found their guy. They think maybe Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be that guy, but we don't know. So Jacoby Brissett, though, when you look at him in and of himself, he's a guy that a lot of people want to throw the mobile quarterback name on just because he's black, honestly, because he's not a mobile quarterback to me. The only thing that makes him mobile is the fact that sometimes he's more willing to move his feet than the next guy, but he's not a very fast guy at all. This is a guy that sits in the pocket and makes pro-style throws in a pro-style offense, an offense that Russell Wilson came out of here at North Carolina State, and a guy that I think can come in and really learn a couple things from Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo and that Bill Belichick coaching staff, and could blossom into a nice backup quarterback. Or maybe if Jimmy Garoppolo leaves in free agency after the 2017 season, because it's not going to be for a while, but if he leaves, they could have yet another potential starting quarterback here in Jacoby Brissett. But because Jacoby Brissett is only going to be a third-round pick for 2 years, because for 2 years he's going to be a backup, third-string quarterback, and this is the third round, I still have to limit you, because I would have taken a quarterback next year. That's when I would have taken a quarterback. And then they took one a year too early. I only give it a B. Next, we move on to the next pick, third round, yet again, 96th pick overall, Vincent Valentine, defensive tackle out of Nebraska. This is a guy that, honestly, when you look at him, he looks fat. And unfortunately, he doesn't have the strength to back it up. Because when I look at these guys, and he's a defensive tackle, so duh, he should look fat, right? But no, he carries way too much weight on his upper body, and he can't really lose weight. Because it's not like he's 320, 330 pounds. Okay, we can cut him. No, he's already like 306 pounds. He doesn't have much upper body strength for this position. I think he's really going to have troubles and struggles going up against centers and offensive guards. I think he's really going to have trouble because he's not very strong at that size. He's going to have to put on more strength underneath all of this stuff that he has. He's not a big functional, strong football player. Despite this, he did have some success in Nebraska, but not as much production as I would like to see. So because of all this, I only give it a C+. I'm not a big Vincent Valentine fan at all. I think there were still a lot of defensive tackles on the board, like Andrew Billings, that you could have gotten and Sheldon Day out of Notre Dame, that would have served you much better than Vincent Valentine out of Nebraska. Next, we move on to the wide receiver taken in the fourth round, Malcolm Mitchell out of Georgia. This is a guy that throughout his 4 years at Georgia had some nice production. Was never their number one wide receiver, but was a nice number 3, number 2 guy eventually that came in and was able to make consistent catches. A nice route runner. Pretty decent size and speed. Now, maybe needs to put on a little weight, but he's setting at 6'2", so nice length in that aspect. Nice speed, nice route running. I think Tom Brady could really make something out of this guy, and the Patriots wide receivers concern me, but they take one here that's actually 6'2", that can be juxtaposed against Danny Amendola and Julian Edelman and give them something new and different. I like this pick a lot, actually. I give it an A- for the New England Patriots. Next, we move on to their 6th round picks, and they had 3 of them. Let's start with the 208th pick overall. You have Kamu Grugier-Hill out of Eastern Illinois. This is a guy that's absolutely miscast. Now, this is a linebacker that's sitting at 215 pounds, about 6'4". He's not a damn linebacker. He's a strong safety. I think they're going to have to move him. He did play some strong safety in college. Hopefully that's where they envision him, because he is not a linebacker. He's just not big enough to be a linebacker at the next level. He's going to get absolutely thrashed by running backs and etc. So, and especially offensive line, because offensive linemen can move up to that second level and start blocking you. So he'll be screwed on those plays as well. Considering the fact, though, again, he's miscast as a linebacker, and even as a strong safety, potentially, I didn't see that many great players from Kamu Grugier-Hill. I didn't see any wild plays. He doesn't have very good ball skills at that position. Not very good. He'd have good size for the position, but not pretty good speed for the position. I really don't like this pick. I question it. He's kind of a prototype. We're just going to see if we can build him, change his position, see what he can do. It's a 6th round, so you can get away with it. Again, this is a weighted scale, my GPA scale, so it won't count much, but it's only a C+. right here because I really do not like this Kamu Grugier-Hill pick. All right, next we move on to the 214th pick overall, inside linebacker Elandon Roberts. I like this pick a lot more. He's coming out of Houston. He was a nice leader at Houston, a nice athlete in terms of also being a special teams guy. I think that's where he's really going to make his mark on this New England Patriots team. They already have the Matthew Slater guy on this New England Patriots guy. He's the gunner. And then Elandon Roberts is another guy that can be on special teams, that can make special teams tackles, and can, in case that Matthew Slater is not able to be, not able to force the punt returner to catch the football, to call for a catch, you know that Elandon Roberts is waiting to get the tackle himself. I really like this pick in terms of a special teams value. And then maybe he'll offer you something in terms of actually being on the field defensively as an inside linebacker. I like this pick. I give it a B+. Next, we move on to Ted Karras, their next 6th round pick out of Illinois. A guy that's not a great athlete, but has a nice NFL bloodline, as I believe 7 of his family members played at least college football. 4 of his family members played in the NFL, so nice bloodlines there, but not great athleticism, not great technique. He's going to need some fix-upping. He has pretty good strength, so at least he has that to his name. If they can fix some things, I think he could actually be a good backup guard for you, but I question whether or not he's going to make the roster. I only give it a B. And then we move on to the 7th round pick, Devin, Lucien out of Arizona State, a guy that was at UCLA but could not get snaps. He was behind Jordan Payton. He was behind Thomas Duarte. He transferred to Arizona State and had 1,000 yards season this season. So you question, because I go back, there's nothing. I can't find pretty much anything on his time at UCLA. He just didn't do anything. So you question, he's a one-hit wonder. Is this a guy that finally burst on the scene because, he was just screwed at UCLA, or is he just a one-hit wonder and Arizona State had to force feed him the ball because they didn't have great weapons there? So you question that, but I like the potential here. There's a nice potential pick. I give them a B only because Kenny Lawler, I think, was still available here, and some more surefire prospects, but this is a fine prospect, and seeing whether or not he was a one-hit wonder or not. So when we go to my GPA system, and I've concocted, and I put all of these grades in, the report card came out. The Patriots only have a GPA of a 2.93. Not a great GPA for the New England Patriots. That translates to me a B-. It's between a B- and a B, but it's pretty much a B- draft when you look at the draft. I mean, I think that they may find some starters here. Yeah, who knows? Maybe Jacoby Brissett will end up being a 20-year starter, and then this will end up being an A++ draft. They may have found a nickel corner in Cyrus Jones, a starting guard, definitely a starting guard in Joe Thuney, but I think Vincent Valentine will not make much of an impact at all. I think Malcolm Brown, etc., will be better than him and will start in front of him for years to come. Malcolm Mitchell can end up being a pretty good receiver for them. But pretty much outside of Joe Thuney and Malcolm Mitchell, I really question what the New England Patriots are going to get out of this draft. And we'll see what the story says years to come. Until next time, James Carter TV, I'm out. Peace.